Ngibingelele ngisekhona. Angakayindawo ukuba matasa nje ngoba ziningi izinto umuntu afanele abhekene nazo emhlabeni kwasukanzima. Hayi. Kodwa ke ekugcineni kosuku inkosi yanqoba. Through all these crises, people dying, needing to be saved, international dramas, whole sartepiti, my questions la ming. Through all of that, we are making it quite nicely. We're making it through. Siyaqhuba. Ngibonge kakhulu banse khona nisaphila Dubazane. Sajabula bansaphila. Ngiyathemba ukuthi ngiyazwakala kancanyana lapha. Phela kade umuntu agcina uqhamuka kulesi space. I think sekuphele almost 2 weeks. Anyway, there was a question. I think that's the main thing. And so I need to come back here and address some issues. Well, not address some issues, but sort of give you the updating of where we are. Ngoba sa ngena emsebenzini omkhulu. Ngithi Gayani utshwala besintu nibuchithe. And then I think I did update you with what happened afterwards. And then akuphelelanga lapho. Jubanibonile ukuthi ngiyaposta a photo there of the black Madonna ngabuza ngathi no doubt abantu abamnyama bayibonile lento kakhulu. But it just never happens to them to ask the necessary question. Ukuthi exactly obani laba? Ngoba futhi nalomndeni awuphelele. Uphi baba walapha kulesa sithombe? Kwakhonza umama nengane. Kodwa babuphi? Where is the father there? Ufihlelwana ubaba wala kulomuzi. Manje nabo opop lapha bayaguqela impela. I think bonke opop bayaguqela lento. Intokazi le. Bayikhonze. Intokazi emnyama lena. Anyway, we are going to go into detail about that one shortly. But I guess the very interesting question that was asked. It's not really, I can't say it's really interesting, but I think it just speaks to maybe my messages are not getting through in the simplest way possible. Umbuzo uyangibuza la uthi kulezi inkolo ke kufanele umuntu angene kuziphi between ama ancestors and Christianity and all the other things. Man bakithi, I've said this before. Awudalelanga ukuthi uzofika emhlabeni ukuthi uzokhonza. You came here for particular tasks. Sesike sakhuluma about some of them. Amanye awo siyawenza as umkhizunini. People in the group know this. Ukudalwa komuntu kwangashiwo ukuthi kukhandwa isikhonzi. Ingakho lapha emadolweni akho there's no extra padding there. Otherwise there'll be extra padding. Ngoba you are expected ukuthi uzonila ngaso sonke isikhathi. The creator of the universe will create all creatures ayawanikeza ama-tools for izinto fanele azenze. You take a camel has a very thick skin lapana on the knees because yes, umsebenzi walo ukuthi lizoguqa at some point, especially when it's sitting. So it has a callous type of skin there by the knees. to facilitate that process. Umuntu akanayo, it's very thin layer of skin there. Anyway, angifuni njalo nongikhuluma eyodwa. So you were not created to come here and worship. You came here to perform a task. Mhlambe ke uzongaxolika ke lokho as a form of worship angazi. But I think we need to stay away from this idea of hyper-religiosity, because we are too religious and then we abandon our responsibilities now. Sicabanga kakhulu in terms of this hocus pocus of faith and belief, and Jesus will save us and whatnot. The ancestors will do. But you are not doing actively izinto ezizokulekelela in your life. And I would think this is cool, and you just go back. I mean, before you got into contact with these ones, you don't have temples there. You were not building temples. There is no evidence archaeologically we were involved in some kind of burning of incense and all those things for the gods. This is why God, we had to invent one recently. It's an invented word, that one, because a foreign concept of gods we don't have. Now, you can interpret that however you want, but the bottom line is to perform certain tasks. None of them had to do with ukhonza. You were not created to come here and sing praises and pray and all those things. But I guess then the problem is we have forgotten who we are. I think that's the main issue here. So siyaphumputha nje sihambe siphuphuthe bomnyameni. Awumazama ukuhambe bomnyameni ebusuku uzama ukuya toilet manje iplug usuyikhohla uthi wo. Hamba uphuphutha la udongweni. That's what we are doing. We have no clear concept of exactly what we came here to do and who we are and where we came from. This is why it's difficult for you and all of us, honestly, to decouple from this thing of having to be religious. Because nasemakhaya sikhule kunalento elokhuzana. Ireligiosity. Sabambelela kuyo sangayidedela. We just see no other way. Asiyibone indlela, because seemingly we are so obsessed with these practices, nalama rituals. We want to be ritualistic. We are so obsessed about it. And here we are spiritual people. Yes, we are spiritual people, but spirituality has nothing to do with religiosity. If you were actively pursuing spiritual works, then you would know that really has nothing to do no khonza. Now, if you were so spiritual, then you would understand what was going on with our women, especially because I mean that's the main topic for today. A lot is going on with our women, and it's not good. Abafazi bethu or mama bethu, they are not doing very well. Cognitively, especially. Angisho ukuthi amadoda are doing any better. I mean, we spoke about that in length and even prescribed to team. Let's try to regain our masculine energy, because asinayo sihlonipheki. All the creatures under the sun are finding it difficult to respect us. Okay, where's the link here? Let's try and get you the link. We are not doing so great. And we won't do any great until we figure out how to undo the spell. Because we are people under a spell. We have been enchanted. Ingakho anything that we are trying to do, it doesn't work out. We can't even come together for a single cause. A simple cause we have difficult. I did here a small program of giving school uniforms, school shoes to the needy children. It was difficult to get support. I could mention by name people who supported the drive. That's how few they are. But we have more than 70 people in the group. Welcome Kuku to the main council. I think I need to start specifically moving some of the videos to the council and doing specific content there. Something more controversial. I think most of the controversial things is on Genala, so that you guys can see what you are paying for. But anyway, we had more than 70 people in the group, but I can count in my hands the people who supported that move. It was successful, which goes to tell us about, no matter how many of you come together, if you have your mind set into achieving something, you can do it. And mind you, as long as invoking Jesus in that movement, we did what we needed to do, and we reached and we touched some souls, touched some kids, helped them. And next year we're going to do even more, hopefully. But you see, this is what I'm saying. There is a charm, there's a curse, there's a spell that was cast upon us. It becomes extremely irreconcilable. Why you should help another black person, why you should give freely to people like yourself. Just on that level, there's a very low level of looking at this. We can go even higher to tertiary levels of what intrinsically is wrong with our people. So ultimately, we cannot get to any state of achieving anything because spiritually, siboshwa amaqalala nezandla nenyawo konke. Wena wabona inkabi mayizofakwa ijogo iboshwa la emanqineni. We can't do. We are powerful people, yes. A lot has been said about our strength and power and all those things, but ultimately we can't do nothing to get ourselves out of these sort of situations. And I spend a lot of time here coming here sharing some insight, because insight is what I need to give you. I can't take you and walk you across the river. I have to give you insight. You know what? To cross this river, this is what you need to look for. And then it's up to you. And then when you get there, how are you going to walk across the river? It's up to you. It's got nothing to do with me. But the insight that I transmit here is a lot. It's very useful, actually. If you needed to know what to do to get black people out of where they are, the insight that I give here ngabe sikude kabi manje. But yeah, we are moving regardless, as few as we are. Because then the other thing is that the way the spell works is that ivala nalendlela ukuthi ukwazi ukurealize inside. We have difficulty having that epiphany moment about things. Very few of you are picking up the messages and assimilating them very well, very quickly. And you'll be texting me on Telegram. They're telling me about the things they're experiencing and seeing, and I'm like, okay, this person is really moving. Abanye siphambane nabo in the spiritual realm, doing certain things together. Because these spiritual things don't need to be drawn out and laid out, and like it needs for you to tap into your own intuitions. This is why it's important to get to know yourself, because your intuitions is linked to your spirit. The spirit knows to recognize things. That's why some of you will say, oh, okay, then they show us it. Oh, actually, I know. I felt it this way all this time. I knew. And then comes the insight into exactly what you were feeling. Then boom. So you can look at it that way as well, Uti. We are really struggling to get it together as a people in the race. So uma sazoku si-sugarcoat izinto and not tell things as they are. We sabe nokuthi no, you can't say this about women here, but I don't give a damn about that. Again, we are here to do the great work for our people and our civilization, to reclaim what we had lost. We are not going to lose you by massaging you, by not massaging your feelings. If we have to massage your feelings, then we're not going to get anywhere. Yeah. It means we just need to go and find somebody else who's going to take your space, and we move like that. We really shouldn't be in that business to coddle people and convince them, because we are not running into a cult. We are not religious here. We are working spiritually. So we did the work of the libations. And then this issue of Zwarte Piet came forward. No, ultimately I did know what this has to do with Zwarte Piet, but what I didn't realize is that Zwarte Piet had family. As all of us do, we all have family. So it's not that this man was just caught up by himself. Because the next thing was, well, sure, King, but awungifunela udadewethu angimboni. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean, udadewenu? You had a sister? I'm like, he's like, yeah. Where is my sister? And the first picture I saw when I tried to look, I'm like, who's this lady who's carrying a child? And I was just shown these people kneeling in front of this image. Another person in the group was posting a dream that she had about this lady who was murdered and thrown into the river or a body of water. And when they were throwing her in there, they were imploding, what's the word? Casting a spell. And she had what the spell was about. They said, wena nesinzalo yakho nizophelela la. So this woman who had been ngathini ufana nalento ukuthi nithi niphendula amadlozi, all those things. It's a similar mechanism, but this is on a nation scale. What those people did was to condemn the entire generations that come after the woman. Wonke umndeni wesizalo wasis was now caught up in the spell of incithakalo and spiritual death, basically. And then there's a question ukuthi you find ukuthi abantu abamnyama are always, especially these couples, they're always talking about how manzini ngiyafuneka emanzini hada. And it now clicks to me, yiwo lamanzi la bajaha ukuya. So there's a much deeper spiritual context behind it. Something was done. So uma kwenzeka lesi spell lesi ubulawa lo mama. Now my question afterwards was, what happened to the child that she was carrying? And then the person who was telling me this dream, I was like, no, but I didn't get to see that part. And then another person in the group is telling me, I'm seeing a lot of Black Madonna in my visions. I'm like, yeah, okay. Landele, because that's what I'm looking for as well. And this is what I saw. My Uzar Pit, the one I'm calling Udlamin, when he asked for me to find his sister. Yeah. And she followed this through, and then recently she comes back and tells me, hey, I'm seeing a man on the cross. There's a black guy, but I don't see his face. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Now, it creates an entirely different story, but a familiar story nonetheless when you look at it. Ukuthi kanti lento le yalendoda eyagwazwa ngomkhonto wegolide yathwalisa umqhele wesihlahla esithile esinamefa, yasiphane la kulesi sihlahla lesi senziwe saba elokhuzana umnqamleso. Kanti kwenzakalana ngaleyo ndoda? It just paints an entirely different, and that's why I was saying in the previous video, if Ubraje was black, then it's bad for you and me. It's really bad because it means we are in real deep shit. We're fucked. If he's black, then it means we are really fucked. Then we need to really get into the business of cracking this spell. We really need to. And kuyasiphoqa ukuthi we need to find amathambo alabantu laba where they are. And it's funny ukuthi we have an entire church that is built on top of umuntu mnyama lapha in the Vatican. You can Google it for yourself, find out where that person about to Peter is buried. You can go ahead and look it up. Anyway, so we have that problem, but angifuni ukusheshe ngiyiqedele le ndaba because I'm really following it through kancane kancane ukuthi who these characters are, because my question becomes ukuthi knowing these ones, this is ikhohlakala, and how much they don't like abantu abamnyama njengathi. They don't like black people at all. Why would they even bother going through the trouble of worshipping a black woman and her child? I'm trying to assess this whole situation with the man, but sure, fine, maybe abantu bakazwa repeat and which picture is which, but no. Exactly how is it this woman is worshipped by whites? Abelungu bakuthatha amaJalimani asePoland bakuthathe laphi? AmaJalimani aseRoma, the Byzantines, the so-called Italians, akuthathe laphi? What do they mean? Why do they mean? Who are these ones? Ubani laba? And then we're going to ask a question later. Okay, then what happens to the father? And because the story is very fun, if you were to take the Bible literally, and then we say, okay, lo mama lo wamitshiswa uNkulunkulu, and that's an absent father there. So ultimately, you are being conditioned to accept ukuthi there is someone ehambela nengane yakhe nje, don't worry about the dead because there's somewhere out there in the sky. You know, it's very strange, that one. But ultimately, umbuzo uyasala ukuthi no, but bakuthathe laphi ukuthi laba bengakhonza umuntu omnyama? What are they trying to tell us? What did they do? And if you understand, like I do, would know, but the whole practice of Christianity is witchcraft, then it makes sense why they would do that. It would make sense. If Babakova ngempela, obviously, they would make sense. They must go and invoke them. It must make sense to invoke them so they can carry out the practice. And then as far as the infant child is concerned, the baby boy there is very troublesome, because you start wondering what the hell are these people up to when you look at their conduct with little boys. I-conduct yalaba thakathi laba bama-priest nabafana abancane, it's very strange. I mean, it's a matter of public record. There's a lot of molesting of young boys, and it's always young boys. Why is that? What are they trying to achieve? Because if you understand something about these ones, is that they just don't do izinto just on impulse. They plan their things. They do something for a purpose. No matter how ridiculous it is, they will do it if they believe that it will achieve something, unlike some people. So, what is the spell they are casting? And who is this young man and his mother? And then you start to look at all the other dynamics of it. I mean, you look at our nation as a black nation. You look at our homes, and you realize something very important here. Uguti, our homes are basically just like the Madonna and her child. It's always just the woman and their child. Isn't that interesting? Chances are you're gonna find 70% of black child household ku umama nengane. Father is never there. And all of these things started taking a very deep hold. Masekufika lab. And once they got us into this cult and this magic, ngempela, you started seeing a lot of this single mom and child dynamic. Bengekho le nto before they came here. No, that's true, because I mean, exactly, that's cognitively it's implanted in your brain, because we are born to Maria laphana ingane yakhe bingenababa. Joseph was just a stepfather. That's how most of us are just stepfathers out here, you know. So you have that very serious dynamic in the black community. You can look at it from the psychological perspective, but I'm looking at it at a spiritual law perspective. Oh, okay. Whatever we are saying in those churches, we are making an incantation to perform this thing on ourselves. Ukuthi ayihlukanise imndeni yethu kanjalo, kusale umama nengane. And you always look at how there's always this interest by white people to take care of the moms and the women and children. And this is the globalist agenda right now. I mean, it's been going on for years. Women and children. There's nothing to do with men. This is how they prefer. They prefer women and children. It's not a game. It's not just because they care. It's what they know. I mean, they worship a woman and a child. Bayazi ke bona ukuthi when they are worshiping, what exactly they are doing, we don't. Siyahamba lapha siyokhuluma laphana, sizibophezele into esingazazi, and we wonder why things are not going the way we think they should be going. So it's a very serious question. Who is this one? Abangabani labantu laba, and labantu laba bayithatha phi lento ukuthi kungafike kukhovwe bona ngempela isizwe sonke siginqeke ngalo hlobo? How powerful were these people and this family? The entire race cannot even move because kwabanjwa lapha. Kwaphela nya futhi ngathi. I mean, we can't even lie. As much as we can try and deny, sebambekile bakithi shame. Hayi futhi kancane. So it's a task, and I'm talking about this thing here because I know some of you have seen this thing, because I've said it before. We are part of a single mind. Ezinye izinto it's not going to come through me. That's why I made the group in the first place, so that people can tell us some of the information that is coming through them. Because going through this kind of information is not going to be a linear thing, and it should never depend on one person. It should never just be about me. Some of the information must come from you. Because somewhere, somehow, we are involved in all this mess. And if we are involved in this mess, we are in trouble. If they are just white people, I think we'll be in a much better space than we would know we are dealing with an enemy here, and we are dealing with an enemy. But now, if these are family, then we have a problem. Because it means whatever these people have on us is a gazini. And some of you bathakathis know ukuthi imkhuba eyenzeka ngaphandle ephakathi egcekeni yona elikhulu kakhulu ukuthi iqaqwe. Niyazi lento bathakatha. Akithi sebandifundisa ukuthakatha. You know very well. Ukuthi ugango kusebaleni is even worse than ugango oqhamuka ngaphandle. Khumalo, yes. Well, I guess you're reminding me to go back to that point. There are three things ezanikezwa umfana if you remember correctly. Kunezazi ezintathu ezafika. And here's the interesting thing about it is that kulezi zazi ezintathu, one of them from the Renaissance period, they depict him as a black guy. That's one. One of them, they depict him as a black guy. Izaza Sempumalanga, the three wise men. I want to show you this picture. They depict this guy with tattoo as a black dude. And when they depict him as a black dude, uphinde futhi afake isigqoko esinomphapha ekhanda, if I remember correctly. Where is this picture, Skalokuzan? I think they even have a name for him. If you remember this guy, there he is. This is one of the depictions. The three magi. They even call them the three magicians in some texts, because originally they were referred to as the magi, not the three wise men. It later became the three wise men for reasons that are obvious. So what I mean, they need to conceal Pela whatever is going on is magic. So you had your three wise men there. This is the picture from the Renaissance period there. I need to remember the name. Yeah, so you can just Google the adoration of the Magi. Adoration of the Magi. You can see that picture from that old time. If there's another one that's much more famous as well. There's another one that's actually quite more famous. This black chief there, or king, who came to adore this white baby. The three wise men. Bambiza ngo Balthazar. So that's like in the 1100s when they started depicting this picture. So you ask yourself what was telling them more than 1,000 something years ago to do this, But this is what they decided to do. And then you also have another aspect of this thing coming in from the Germanic side, Western Germanic side, where they're talking about Zwarte Piet, a Black Pete. And then you have a Black Peter, who is the friend and companion of the man who is killed on the cross, who ends up being buried in Rome. So in so many ways, I don't like this whole story, because yes, manch, and I don't like it, And anyway, so laba ke the three wise men, they come there, bazomnikeza 3 items. I think, what are the 3 items that were given to the child? Your frankincense. I think we spoke about this in the group, but the frankincense tree is very curious. Boswellia sacra is the Latin name, so people can look it up there, see some of his photos. The frankincense tree, it's very interesting and very common in Africa, nowhere else. It's a very common African plant, all the way up to the Middle East. I think you'll find this. In fact, not even in the Middle East. It's in go Morocco. Let's see here. It's a pity I don't know the Zulu names of these plants, but I'm sure I've met this particular tree somewhere in this country. And then there's this other one, the mirror tree. So it's called Camphora mirror. Camphora mirror is very common as well. I think I've seen it even there in Latin when I was walking. Or its cousin even. Now this one, the Camphora mirror, is interesting. Let me show you why it's interesting. Let me see here. This is more interesting than all of them. Because of this particular issue. Now this one, this Camphora mirror, as you can see there, are those not matons? Akusiwa ameva lawa. Akusiwo yini ameva lawa. And you see the thing about it, we sit here, sicabanga ukuthi kudlalwa kakhulu nathi, kanti hey akudlalwa nathi. Akaze nje futhi kudlalwe nathi. We are here thinking we are supposed to be friends with everyone. Ngazi ithatha aphi lemhlola lo sucabangayo. So anyway, this guy ufika lamadoda amathathu amnikeza two trees, 2 things from 2 trees. The first one is the frankincense. Let me show you the frankincense. I didn't show you the frankincense. This is the frankincense tree leaves. Just making it such that when you come across these things, you remember them. And some of you who knows, then we can go look at them. Awuzwe-ke uhlophe. Awusibheke-ke leso sihlahla ukuthi sibizwa ngani. Now look at this one. Frankincense. This is what the frankincense tree. And what was the other item? The last item that they gave the child? What do you know? What was the last item they gave the child? Because, as curious as things can be, like, there are no coincidences in the universe. That's one thing for sure. There are no coincidences. Aweko. You can go wherever you want. There are no coincidences in the universe. Yeah. So, bamnikeza la lezi hlahla ke leso to give him the things, the oils from those trees. No problem. No problem whatsoever. And then they give him this last item here, which I'm going to show you. This item here. This item, they have decimated entire populations for babulala namanje basabulala because of this item. And they're hoarding this item in England and in Rome. They're hoarding this item. Cool. Item abayhoda ukudlula le. And then you ask yourself, why are they so obsessed with this item? Why have they been not even just obsessed. No. They have been consistent, obsessed about this item here. This is the last item that was given to the child. Niyeza frankincense, bamnikeza isihlahla sameva, bamnikeza igolide. Igolide leli aba risk everything to come and find. Balifuna igolide bazibalithola ukuthi lela eSouth Africa babulala balithola ukuthi noma licela Africa yonke lento babulala namanje basabulala for igolide. And then they're stockpiling in Fort Knox there, and they're stockpiling gold in England. I know. Gold is a true measure of wealth. But when you go back into the work they are doing archaeologically in Europe, you find they didn't have much gold there. The thing that was mainly in their coins was copper. Main thing. There are very few silver coins and very few gold coins. Because in Tababengayo, they didn't have mines for this. They only had copper coins to work with. Now, copper coins they were taking from China. Through the Silk Road. So it's not there to historically gold is wealth, what. It's got nothing to do with that. It's magic. Now, it's fine. Tato, that's your conclusion. I didn't say that. Angas, I'm wondering, if it's him. I just happened to witness him moving from one dimension to another. I just saw that scene where he was stabbed on his left-hand side with a gold spear. One day I'll probably go back to that to examine who exactly this black man was. But I didn't see him in the same place as I saw the mother and child. So that's the question mark. Who is the father of this baby? But if you are concluding that way, maybe you are seeing a pattern here. Maybe you are resolving it in your mind. Maybe I'm not saying it's not possible. It probably is possible. We don't know. We really don't know. We really don't know. Because then if the father is the one who was stabbed with a spear of gold, and then the child was crucified, and all these people are black people, that's all I'm saying here. We are in shit. So anyway, give him frankincense, give him camphora myrrh, the tree of thorns, and they gave him gold. And here's the most interesting thing about it is that when the man is crucified, he is stabbed on the cross with a gold spear. He is crowned with a tree of thorns. And the question is, which tree was this one? Was it not this camphora myrrh? And then this tree that was made, where this cross was made from, one wonders if it wasn't this frankincense. These are just questions in my head, but people can do their research. Frankincense, what other uses was it doing back in those days? Was it used as a thing of carpentry as well? It's possible. They made those what you call crosses using that. The tree that was readily available around, cut it down. It's highly possible. I don't know. Angazi ke kodwa ke. Ninga researcha kahle lento le. And there's a very interesting story also that happens along the way, where there's a woman who takes a bunch of her hair and some oils. But again, it's very interesting things that are happening there. A lot of magical clobbering. But we don't look at it that way because we are assuming, hey man, it was a magic of God that was going on there. That is interesting. That's an interesting question. So, what was the gold doing? What was the job of the gold? But it's very strange for me, Uguti. These three wise men bring him the three things that are definitely going to be used for his death. It's very strange. It's very strange. It's very strange. So that's the dynamic there. It is very mildly confusing and scary at the same time, because I honestly don't want us to be involved in any way with that kind of mess, because that is such a difficult thing to crack, to be honest with you. If I had to crack that is a big job for me, and it needs more hands. I'm definitely not going to be able to do that by myself. That is a big mountain to climb, especially with all those people who are very staunchly believing those are the personification of God on earth, not understanding what God is. No Satan in their order. It's not your friend. There's another dynamic here that I've been explaining on this channel. Man, I would rather have it this whole game and that whole situation there. Maybe there was just a child of Uzuse and a film, and then call it a day. But if that's a black family, Genga, big problem. If that's a black family, that's a big problem. It really is, and it will definitely explain why they managed to capture the world. It would make sense, because if there's one race that has authority over all things that are living, abantu bamnyama, and if ungabamba inkosi yamakhosi yabo, hey, you capture the planet. and they've done that successfully. Shoot, that man who was stabbed by with a gold spear was Nkosi Yamakhosi. And then it takes us back to who betrayed him. It's a mess. It's a big, big, big mess. Hey. Yakhathaza le nto. But ultimately, what this says is that umuntu omnyama wesifazane was supposedly a person ukuhlonishwa, wakumuntu okuhlonishwa, and these ones knew that. But today, where is she? Where is the queen that is a black woman? What happened to her? And then you'll find me talking about Uguti, your essence of womanhood. Yathathwa, yafakwa kuMesis. This is why you are so obsessed with uMesis, because you are seeing into zenu kubo. You are recognizing your essence in her, but you don't realize, no man, this person is an imposter. Umbathe, you literally bathatha ukhazimulo yeni bayigqoka. And they are more of women than you are. Whether you like it or not. I'm not saying this. This is how you behave and show us what you instinctively believe that these white women are more women than you are. And the reason for that is that they took from you the spirit of womanness. The queen that was in you was taken, and something else took its place. Now you can take this back all the way to the Black Madonna. Nokuthi kwenziwani kuye nokubulawa kwakhe. It still makes sense. You can take it back to the whole saga of Cleopatra. But I think after Cleopatra, there were still a lot of powerful queens. So the spell didn't work out there. I think they were still trying to figure out who exactly to capture. They didn't find the right person. But I think with the Black Madonna, they found the correct woman to perform this ritual on. And it worked wonders, because after that whole saga of the Black Madonna, you have not been women. No matter what you just cannot. It's not possible for you. And the spirit that dwells in black women today is spirits of Febe. I don't make the rules. It's just what it is. I don't want to even post here evidence to display this. There's a lot of evidence. You just go on Twitter today, you'll see. Go Instagram, you'll see. So the essence yenu yobukhosikazi, female kingship. That's what we are talking about. We're not demeaning you. We are trying to assist each other here because we need each other. The essence of ubukhosikazi was stolen by these ones. And then they start having these queens, these famous queens there after the crucifixion. The last Byzantine ruler, who was considered to be the Roman emperor, was an empress before Charlemagne came in. I explained the thing about the Charlemagne in the previous video. You can check that out. But yes, the last Byzantine ruler, who was an emperor of Rome, was an empress. She was the last of that family, and she ruled. She had dignity, she had power. Oh, Queen Victoria, oh, Queen Elizabeth, they were rulers, they had power. You don't see, take black women, but with power today, they are not helping us in any way. So what happened? Yes, the essence. They get overruled by spirits of Febe. You start seeing an entire old woman who's in government posting Kuba trend manje video. Mama mdala in her 60s or 50s or what have you, busy there doing things on the camera. Number 5. Ubukhosikazi. Angisho ukuthi abantu ke should not have a partner, no, but ukuhlulwa inkanuko umdala tells you ukuthi the essence of ukhonya, because inkosi kazi iyakwazi ukhonya phezulu kwemoya engasili. So siniphethe lesi spirit sobufebe and siniphethe kakhulu. And I'm saying this, and I'm drawing from these situations where we've gone through, especially with the Black Madonna. And I'm also going to say this because it was just shown to me yesterday, actually. No, here's another way that they peddle the spirits of Feb. Clothing chain stores, clothing labels. This is how you obtain the spirits of Feb. Let's eat all those in fashion. They're not selling you clothes there, but they sell imimoya yobufebe. I don't make the rules. Don't come at me. I'm just telling you the truth. You go out there, you look at the fashion and you go, look at the fashion in Ikogai today and ask yourself, what spirit comes and follows that fashion? Because it's not the same spirit that follows traditional clothing. I mean, traditional clothing was very much minimal. You just covered your vagina, you covered your breasts. That was it. Your buttocks can be out there and nobody gave a damn. Because the spirit that followed there was not the spirit of Jezebel. But today, tate miniskirt, tate crop top, you get an entirely different feeling. You get an entirely different feeling from it. Even you tell yourself, hey, I feel sex. Spirit of Feb. In these chain stores, in these fashion labels. In my mall, I was literally taken through a mall. So yeah, walked through here. And I was just sensing the energy. I'm like, oh, rage, ban, all these shops. There's just this very heavy presence of an extremely perverted feminine spirit. Injured. I mean, I'm sorry if you don't like that, but it's just what it is. Just what it is. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. You can go ahead and disprove what I'm saying. You're welcome. You are more than welcome to do so. What's my camera? But yes, ultimately, that is the main reason why I made this video, to try and figure out how exactly do we navigate this whole mess. See, navigate kanjani. We're not doing great. We're not doing well. The men are not men. The women are not women. It's very unfortunate, but it's the fact of the matter. Bakhona kumalo makhosi namakhosikazi, but they come on this planet and they're already stripped of leyo nkazimulo. And the more they live, the more the things they do that reinforce lokho kuthwebulwa thathwe kuyonikezwa some white lady over there. The same concept with umcebo. Phela ngithi umcebo bakwethu. This whole thing has to do with umcebo wesizwe. Uma abantu bezothwebula umcebo wesizwe, this is why the whole Zwaluphila thing is connected to this whole thing, because we did it because sifuna ubuyisa lo mcebo lo owantshontsho ama-Swiss. Yayibona. So lo mcebo uhamba nazo zonke lezi ngqinamba, all these different types of manifestations of wealth and blessings are part of umcebo. Ubukhosi bumcebo besizwe, ubukhosikazi bumcebo besizwe, ukuhlonipheka umcebo besizwe. So it shouldn't be a surprise then ukuthi if sithwejuliwe umcebo wethu, then all these other things nazo ziyathathwa because it comes together. This is why it's easy for you to respect very wealthy white women and respect very wealthy white men. It's very easy because umcebo hamba kanjalo. So bawuthatha bawumbatha-ke, and then we are left here namantombazane amakhosikazi dololo. Amakhosikazi dololo. Angithi phela mangalo sebazola because ispirit sisuke sesingenile, ispirit somfebe sisuke sesihleli manje siyalwa ke asifuna ukuphuma. Yeah, so you're going to come and tell her ukuthi wena oqoke kahle, they don't understand because you're trying to tell them what to do with their bodies, but you ask them to wear traditionally. Unje awufake isigegeke sibona angeke bakwenza. But they want to be naked in this clothing zabelungu. You know, they can't go around breast out ngesintu. Abakwazi abafuni futhi bayasaba, and they know this. So if the issue was the bodies, ake bafake nje bahambe nje traditional sibone ke uma ngempela inkinga uthi ama bodies. It's not bodies, it's the spirit that possesses them ngengubo zabelungu. I've said this before. I'm not even going to lie. Uthatha nje ufake iminiskirt one day, uthatha iminiskirt, ufake iminiskirt yakho uhambe lapha udunuse ubone how people are going to react, and ask them how they feel about what you're wearing. They'll tell you. It's not even a thing of judging, it's the feeling they get. They can sense the spirit, because the spirit that you are carrying now wants to present itself. It's a very it's a very proud spirit as well, that lady. She's one of the Olympians. She's very proud as well. So manje, if you are walking around Batile, she'll be very proud about it and wants to show and present herself there. And then all these men will respond. And you grab their attention, and then you will feel very sexually charged. It is what it is. I don't make the rules. But it's very simple. If you feel like something are better, you're welcome to go. Proof of concept, go. Humble experiment. Come back and tell us what you found out. So we are sitting with women who cannot be relied upon as amakhosikazi. It's not because of their own choosing. They are just a victim of a magical spell. Ilapho nje into. Now, nathi ngapha as an entire race, we are not poor and dispossessed because siyafuna nkosi yami. We are victims of a magic eyenziwa kudala. But now, since we know, the question is, what are we doing about it? Oh yeah, ubonile lo yamngcebo kama R5. Oh hayi lapha ke nkosi yami. Hayi. Hayi. Shame. But yabona bathuleke manje usisi, because they will always take offense in these things, but it's not about offending them. It's not about offending them. But spirits is a thing. It's like music. Let's say, music will carry the spirit of its creator. Now, umculo will carry the spirit of the creator of that. I mean, the clothing will also carry the spirit of the person who created it. It is what it is. It's very unfortunate. So now, abomama ke mele benze effort ukuhlanganyela, especially lapha emkhizwaneni emagrouphini. Mele nihlanganyeleke manje kutholakala leli Olympian leli elinifaka lo moya wobufebe. I think that's the next mission. We need to find who this Olympian is. Idimonikazi leli, and then deal with them. It is very unwelcome shame, because that one is bamba for the longest time if we don't deal with it. And I feel like that same Olympian has the key onto exactly how this essence of womanhood was taken. And then we can try and figure out a way to counter lelo twebulo lelo. It could be Aphrodite. It could be. But I'm also thinking it could be that one they call Hera. Because ultimately, I did see, I think I did tell you about this when I was walking through the dimension. Then I went into a space where black men were being chosen in a setting that looked like a picnic. And these little girls who were yet to be born will pick souls of black men who were supposed to be their protectors. This is why we are very protective of these white ladies or misses. I mean, they are the most protected people on the planet when you really think about it. If you wanted to deal with white people, you never think about the white woman. If you really want to talk about the crimes of white people, you never think about the white women. But they were there at the front. So they are protected, they are shielded by the spirit of the protection of the black male. And that protection of the black male that has been captured by these ones, I think now will sit unprotected. It's not a joke, it's a spiritual thing that's on progress. Black women don't have the blessing of protection. That's what the essence of womanhood embodies. Now, if they can retain the essence of womanhood, reclaim it, we can reclaim the protection. And then we'll be able to protect them. Iphela kanjalo iGBV le enhlizi ngikhala ngayo. Izophela kanjalo. Angeke iphele ngalezi zinto enizama ukuzenza. Izophela kanjalo ke. Until we reclaim these two things. Akho GBV ezophela. Because they said, I think it was in the Quran, they said in Harut and Marut, they taught them the things that will divide women and men. They will put animosity between women and men. They taught them the things. I think that's what they say. They taught them the things that separate women and men. Okushuthi lezi zinto abayifundiswa ilezi ngelosi eHarut neMarut, amademonikazi babafundisa izinto ezisiqhathayo njengoba siqhathiwe nje. And this is how it works. Thathwa inkazimulo yobukhosikazi, kuthathwe iprotection inikezwe lapha. Sixabaneke, and then you end up with single women in the homes of black people, and ubaba undinga sithebeni samayakazi ukuthi wenzani. It's not a joke. If it was a joke, then it wouldn't be happening. I mean, the evidence is a mountain upon a mountain. You can just go see how many houses next to you have single moms. It's very simple. Just look at how many GBV cases we have on a daily basis where black women cannot be protected. And this the other thing that's very key about the essence of ubukhosikazi is this thing uthi it causes a cognitive impairment kwayona. Bona ngathi bayahlanya emakhanda. If you were looking at the R5 funeral, those girls are not okay emakhanda. Things like that, if you were doing them privately, but you are doing them during the people, it's either you're on drugs or you are crazy. It is what it is. So it drives them insane, and they do not want to accept this or realize it. It's very crazy. That's why it's difficult to deal with them, because they are mentally not okay. It's also very true with us as men. We are not mentally okay because we are missing our masculine aspect. Something inkazimulo yobukhosi yethu was also taken. So sinayo inkinga ukuthi we're not stable mentally. This thing igaya both sides. Sisenkingeni. And this is why I say I don't like this idea of a black Jesus. I don't like it. It means very bad news for us if it's the case. And you are busy out there. Busy lapana authority. Busy lapana I see suban. Hey, there's nothing to celebrate there. That is a problem. They took the story of ICC and Horus and what. Hey, if we are owning the thing, that means we are in trouble. That means we are in trouble, and this is why the thing doesn't work for us, because we are looking at people who are about to. This is why bona mabeba nxenxe beba invoker bayasebenza. Thina masithi abanxenxe sebe invoker abasebenzi. Because umkhovu will only respond to the person okhovile. Injalo nje. Lela thwalo lela li serious. Niyake lento ufaka uISIS le laba ngene khona nifaka uHorus abangeni la labo abanye abantu abaseceleni, they have nothing to do with that. If these people are using that story, no. In fact nje kwakhona nje ukuthi nizinevuma yonke le nto le ukuthi khona uISIS nobani amagama abo. Hey, those people cannot read the language of the ancients. They can't. Ayikho lento leyo but bayitranslate lapha, and there's nothing cogent that they picked up. That Rosetta Stone, usibheke kahle. That Rosetta Stone is not a translation between 3 different languages. Ayikho leyo nto. But anyway, you will believe anything white people tell you, and then you are having an entire people who are obsessed about Egyptology, taking from translations of what white people propose. There's nothing to do. If you were to tap into the memory, young Mbela, of the ancient times, and you looked at those things, you will get an entirely different meaning. Then you'll start realizing ukuthi kwangakhulunywa ngama-gods aphaya. But anyway, sizothini phela? Nifuna uba religious nana ngekho khona isidingo sakhona. Sikho nje isidingo sokuba religious. Anyway, anginiyeke. And you guys have a good day. Bo mama, ake nibuyise ubukhosi kazi benu. Buyisani thato ubukhosikazi mabuyiswe. Can't be crippled by psychological struggle. Uyinkosi kazi. Angilwi njalo. I always say this. Angilwi guys. Ngithanda kabi. Ngithanda nonke sizwe sami. Angilwi. I'm trying to get you back. We're trying to find the way. Siyahambisana. I've done most of the work. I mean, I've said it before. Ngincintelele ezinye indawo, and you will end up there, and you will walk la kade kwagcina ukuhanjwa khona in the spiritual realm, and you'll be fine. Wherever they stop you, ubatshele ukuthi hey, Nkosi esemkhezwaneni yathi la ngiyadlula. They'll get out of your way. Yeah, injalo. We have too many fears. We are too afraid. King lap. We are too afraid to shake the boat. Moabi. It's this thing of afraid of shaking the boat. We don't want to rock the boat because we feel like we are going to drown. But actually the boat is in the sand. Clearly in the middle of the Sahara Desert there. It's not in the middle of the ocean. Sabe ukuroka ke njalo kodwa. Hayi bandla. We have nothing to lose further here. We've lost everything. There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to preserve. Anyway, we just need to find ourselves. Because I mean, it's so practical about. I mean, if you look at it in the essence of the physical realm. If you look at how everything is run on this planet, you find ukuthi if black people decided to go home and not go to work, kunabantu abazofa indlala. So we are here feeding everyone. We are feeding all the people who want to see us fail, people who don't want us to exist, who hate us deeply. We are feeding them, we are sustaining them, we are giving them life. Literally on this planet. Now you rationalize it, you ask yourself, well, wow, but how are we doing this? How are we not seeing what we are feeding our enemies? It's very simple. You have been captured spiritually. Twebuliwe, then how are you going to think clearly? It's not happening. It's not going to happen. So the spiritual war must be won. And then your mind will follow. Because the mind and the spirit have to be connected. And if they're in disagreement, you end up in a situation as a god. harmony between the spirit and the mind. It's very key. And then the body can follow afterwards. Because now a body is the third element of all this whole thing, of how do we treat the body. But most importantly, the spirit and the mind need to agree. And then they can impress on the body what needs to happen. And if we achieve that kind of level, I don't know what we are going to become. Giants, like in those ancient times, I don't know. Or some of you will stop being a yellow bone and become very dark. One wonders if you'd like that. But here, we have an original state that we should have been, but mentally and spiritually we are not there. Amitabha.